Y'all, I could listen to that all the way through multiple times. I remember when this album, Ty Tribb's album, came out. I listened to it on my way home, like back to my hometown, and I had to pull over a couple times because I was getting a little too hype, So anyway, that is an amazing song. If he did it before, he can definitely do it again. Okay, you have survived up to this point and overcome all these obstacles up to this point with the help of the Almighty God. Okay, and He is the same God from way back when, and He can help you right now in the same way He helped you back then. So if y'all needed some encouragement there, He got you. He has equipped you to overcome this very obstacle. It may seem difficult, it may seem hard, but He has you in His hand and you are in His divine plan. Okay. So that's a little word from the deaconess herself. Oh gosh. So a lot of people call me Sister Pearl. It's so funny. But anywho, I'm so glad to be back in front of you guys. I have a great a question that was asked to me that I answered the question on Instagram, and she posted it on her page. The page is called She's Pieced Together. And so if you wanted to go check out the answer to the question on her Instagram page, feel free to do that and maybe even follow her. But she asked me an important question. I only had a minute or so to answer the question, so I wanted to dedicate a podcast to it because it's really a great topic that I wanted to expand on. So that's what I'm going to dive into today. I'll tell you a little bit. I'll tell you the question and then dive a little bit into it. But before I get into the meat and potatoes of it, I wanted to let you guys know, if you don't know already, I do have a YouTube channel. So if you guys wanted a visual of this podcast, feel free to go to Supreme by Sarah Pearl on YouTube, and you'll see the past 3 episodes or so uploaded on that page. I also have a Facebook page. If you wanted to like and follow that page, that would be great. And then lastly, Sarah Pearl Thomas is my Instagram name. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see in my bio the link to all of the resources that I offer, from the website, my Facebook page, the ebook, the Supreme Lifestyle ebook, all of that. You'll find it there. So I appreciate everyone who's tuning in, supporting me on a consistent basis. I'm really enjoying this journey with you all. And if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, comment on what you hear from our podcast. What do you want to hear? What do you like? What don't you like? I would love to hear some feedback from you guys. And yeah, that's really it. I appreciate all of you for tuning in, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about this question that I answered about a week or so ago. So the question was, how do I get through tough times when my confidence is wavering? Okay. Now, I need y'all to understand. My confidence was just wavering yesterday. So this is a very fresh topic for me, and I want y'all to understand as well. I'm able to get on here and talk a little bit about my perspective about certain things that happen in my life because I go through it. It's things that I consistently go through every day, and I have to check my mindset on a consistent basis. And that really, that's what life is about, is what is your perspective on it? What's your mindset? Because a lot of the times obstacles, and I say a lot of the times, most of the time, life can and life will throw these obstacles at you to see where you are in your journey, to see how you overcome it. Because somebody may experience a very similar obstacle, but they may see it differently and they overcome it in a different way. But here's the thing, like, if you're going to strive for your maximum potential, which is why we're here, it is why we're on this journey. If you're going to strive for it, you might as well go ahead and prepare for the obstacles that life is going to throw at you. The obstacles aren't necessarily a negative thing. So the person that succeeds, they see the obstacle as a stepping stone to where they want to go, because the obstacle ultimately, And I say this from experience. Everything that I've gone through, every obstacle that I've overcome has prepared me to be here right now. Okay, and if we're not able to see the obstacle as a lesson, as a necessary tool to prepare you for your greater for your greater potential, then you may have a tougher time along the journey, because the obstacles aren't there to stop you necessarily. While some people may think that, they're not there to stop you and getting your way from reaching your maximum potential. That's not it. They're strategically placed in your life to help you prepare for what's to come once you get further along this journey. And I have so many stories that I could tell you guys on like how I was prepared for certain situations, but I didn't have that. Like, the obstacle may have come 2-3 years prior to when it was applicable in my life, from the lessons that I learned from that obstacle. So here's the thing: the obstacles are there to help. Okay, if that's not perspective enough, then I want you to reflect on your life and see like how think like the obstacles from your past has served you in your future, like has served, or rather served you in your present. Okay, and how like the lessons you've learned from that, like how it's helped you progress. Okay, so anywho, that's just a note from the Supreme by Sarah Pearl journal. Okay. Coming to you soon, by the way. Nonetheless, so the first thing that I said on how do I get through tough times when my confidence is wavering, the first thing that I said was the number one thing I do is to secure my identity, secure my sense of self before the tough times actually come. Now, what does that mean? Now, I know I'm not the only person who has experienced this. I'm pretty sure. But when tough times come, like when my confidence is like, "Oh, girl, I don't know if you can do this. Oh, you probably shouldn't do it that way. Somebody else has already done that." Or maybe I'm just feeling lazy one day, to be honest, and I'm procrastinating and all the negative things that are not getting me closer to where I want to go. I know I'm not the only one who began to identify with those emotions, with that, like with my mental state. I know I'm not the only one who identifies sometimes with those things. Like, if I'm feeling lazy, then I start thinking to myself, "Oh, you're lazy. You're not gonna do the things you say that you're gonna do. You're just all talk and da 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 da." Right? So here's the thing. Before I even get to that point, it is important for me to become comfortable and identify accurately who I am, okay? Who I am and who God says I am, okay? We the work that we need to do on a consistent basis to shape ourselves and to become secure and rooted in ourselves is what's going to help us get through those tough times when our confidence is wavering. Okay, so when things are going pretty smoothly, right? Life is coasting, and there's no major like life obstacles. That is the best time, the absolute best time to get to know yourself in the true light. Because when obstacles come, that's not, and you start identifying with those, like you start identifying with those negative emotions, that's not who you really are. But the problem is we start identifying ourselves as those things. I am lazy, I am procrastination. But God says, on the other hand, God says who you really are, right? God says you are the head and not the tail. Okay? God says that you are an overcomer, right? But when obstacles and things like that come, all of that goes out the window. So it's important for you to prepare yourself for those obstacles, because those thoughts and those emotions, you're human. Those are going to come up. But it's important for you to identify who you are and root yourself in God and your sense of self and identity, so that you can accurately in a true light identify who you are. So when those negative emotions come, you can see it happening, you can acknowledge it, but you don't identify it as who you are. and that will help you stay like the funk, right? That'll help you get out of the funk unscathed. I'll say that, without your ego, your confidence, and all that being attacked. And that's something that's helped me tremendously. So I journal, right? I journal on a consistent basis. I'm not going to say every day because I'm still working on that, right? But I journal. I'm tuned into God's word. I'm reading it. I listen to positive messages throughout the week on a daily basis. Like, I'm at work listening to TD Jakes or Sarah Jake Roberts or Minister Ava, like things like that. Like, I'm always listening to something that will shape my perspective, shape my life, and kind of give me a new perspective on who I am and what this life is about. So that was number one. Number two, when those tough times actually come, I don't operate in fear. Okay, I don't operate in fear. Anything that I do, any decision that I make, is gonna be based in faith. All right. So when we do experience an obstacle, right? A lot of the times we make these rash decisions based on a fear that we have. If it is fear based, it is not from God. It is not the best decision to make. Okay. And I tell my friends this all the time because we're always like talking back and forth about like different situations we have going on in our life and how to overcome it and things. And I always tell them like, hey, if you're doing this because you're afraid of something, like if you have a fear of like if you have a larger fear of, I don't know, whatever the situation may be, like whatever the outcome is, then that decision probably isn't the best decision. It needs to be based in faith, right? So fear is fear is real in some people's minds, but a lot of the times we fear things that we create in our imaginations, that things that never come to fruition, that we've never experienced before. Like, we create these scenarios in our heads that never actually happened in life. They're all based on our imaginations. And so the worst case scenarios usually never happen. Okay. And a lot of times we base our decisions on the worst case scenarios, but those worst case scenarios never even, you have no experience of that happening. I know that's true for me. I'll say that. So whenever I make a decision, it's based in faith. Okay. I have faith that whatever decision that I make, I'm going to be equipped to execute that decision. Things are gonna, like, God is gonna put different things in my path that are gonna help me execute my decision. And everything, like, I just have faith that those things are gonna happen for me. Because once you set your intentions to something, what you'll see is that if you have faith that those things are going to happen and you set your attentions to it, you'll see that like the pieces of the puzzle just starts coming together. But you have to do it in faith. And if you do it in fear, then you're stunting you're stunting your growth towards your maximum potential. That's a topic for another day. I'm not going to go too deep on that. So I'm just going to stop there. Number 3, when my confidence is wavering, I usually procrastinate. I think negatively, etc. The way I overcome is I do it anyway. I do it anyway, y'all. Okay, so when I woke, and I'll give you this example, this real life example. When I woke up this morning, I knew it was on my to-do list to record this podcast. Okay, it was on my to-do list, and this week has been a week of just, I don't know, so many different distractions, and I was pulled in so many different directions because me and my husband, we moved into a new house and nothing set up. Like, there's boxes all around me right now, just to be honest. And I woke up this morning and I was like, oh man, I don't think I'm ready to, I don't think I can continue this podcast. I don't think I'm ready for it. Um I don't think anybody wants to hear what I got to say. Like all these negative thoughts like were happening just this morning, okay? But guess what I did? I got out of bed. I got myself together. I set up my podcast and I did it. I'm doing it. I do it anyway. Your feelings, and if you read my ebook, you'll I talk a little bit about this. Your feelings, they're justified. You're human. You're gonna feel things. You're gonna feel sad. You're gonna feel mad. You're gonna feel lazy. You're gonna feel all these things. But those feelings are not who you are. It's just kind of their temperature checks of where you are currently, but not who you are. Okay, please read my ebook because I go into depth about that, and I may do a podcast about it one day. But for the sakes of this podcast, I want you to know your feelings are just a temperature check of where you are, of how you're feeling. But that's not who you are. I am not I'm not any of those things that I said that I was this morning. Like none of that was true. And you have to be honest with yourself and willing to accept that it's not true, because it's easy to just say, yeah, you're right. It's easy to just agree with your emotions, because what usually if you're agreeing with those negative emotions, that leads you to not doing anything, just sitting on the couch watching TV, which is not, I mean, hey, I did that yesterday, so that's not a bad thing necessarily, but when it's stopping you from getting you to where you want to go, then you have to reassess, you have to self-assess, right? So I had those emotions this morning, but I got up and I did the podcast anyway. And y'all, I'm having a blast doing it. So, what have you put off, right? What have you put off in the past, like, I don't know, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because of negative emotions that you've been experiencing? What have you put off? Because here's the thing, like, the devil, his goal is to keep you from your potential. All right? And what if it is a tactic on the enemy's part to keep you from doing the very thing that you're procrastinating yourself from doing because of the negative emotions that you're agreeing with? Just get up and do it anyway. Get up and write that book, right? Get up and wash the dishes, and get up and cut the grass, and just get up and do it anyway, because like there's a reason God is calling you to do it. There's a reason, no matter how big or how small. Okay. And so those were my three answers to that question. And let me tell you, taking my own advice sometimes cannot it's not that easy. It's easier said than done, but that's why you prepare yourself in the meantime. Like this is a training ground, okay? And you'll get other, like you may fail one time at doing it, and you may miss an opportunity at doing something, or miss an opportunity of growth. But with life being the way life is, you'll get another opportunity to make it happen. Like you may procrastinate yesterday, but you got another opportunity today to get it right. Okay. So even though your confidence wavers and tough times come, those things can all be a positive reflection. They can all be a positive experience in your life, because it can teach you so many things about who you are, and how you personally can overcome these obstacles, and get to where you're trying to go, or get a step closer to where you're trying to go. You just have to be willing to be in tune with self and do the work of refining who you are, and understanding who God has made you to be, and understanding your purpose. Purpose is why we're here. Okay? We're here to leave a footprint, an imprint on this world, right? And we all have a territory. We all have a territory of influence. And if you're procrastinating and succumbing to your emotions and things like that, the territory that you're assigned to will not be impacted in a way that only you can do, in a way that only you can impact it. So that's all I got for you guys. I love y'all, and it's always fun. It's always a blessing. The song that we listened to at the beginning of this is "If You Did It Before" by Ty Tribbett. And if y'all have any any song requests, let me know, because if you haven't noticed, music makes me feel really good. It really speaks to my soul. So, but I love you guys. Don't forget, go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share, comment, and all that good stuff. Love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.